Welcome back, everybody. President Trump is taking on the woke takeover of America's universities. His new higher education reform plan draws a line in the sand. No more taxpayer dollars for indoctrination, censorship, and anti-American propaganda. So joining us now to talk about that and much more, Cornell University law professor and founder of the legal Insurrection Foundation, William Jacobson. Sir, thanks so much for being with us.
Great to be here.
Sir, 7 years ago, we heard the horror story of what happened at Tree of Life Synagogue in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I talked to a lot of folks who say that anti-Semitism just lurks beneath the surface, no matter what time it is, no matter what's happening. Anti-Semitism is right there beneath the surface. Should we have paid more attention then? Because now we have seen an absolute snowball effect of this ramping up in the last few years.
I think we should have. I mean, that shooting obviously is, in a sense, an outlier. I mean, there are not that many violent outbursts like that, but the sentiments behind it have spread like wildfire after October 7th. And a lot of it spread through social media, particularly Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. There really is a war against the Jews online. And that's really the only way to describe it. Every ill on the earth is ascribed to Jewish control, things like that. And it's that sort of rhetoric that causes a small number of people to snap and to shoot up a synagogue or do other acts of violence.
Yeah, it is amazing how a pandemic like it has become, the pandemic of anti-Semitism. I want to talk a little bit about some of the successes. Over the weekend, a big deal was announced with UVA. We're starting to see universities realizing that it's in their interest to create a new education culture, not the one we've had to endure. Where do you think this leads, and is UVA's deal a sort of model that we could see other universities engage on?
Yeah, well, what UVA essentially did is agree to actually follow the law. Okay, the law says you can't discriminate in hiring, you can't discriminate in terms of educational opportunities, you can't discriminate based on race in admissions to the school, and they've agreed to do that. And they've agreed to introduce concepts that you would have thought would have been there all along, like diversity of viewpoint, things like that. So the fact that UVA has taken those steps is very significant, because most of the schools reacting to Trump's proposals are rejecting them out of hand. And the schools are foolish, because higher education is in a downward spiral. Gallup came out with polling just in September. This is an old polling, and it's by Gallup, which showed that the lowest percentage ever of people thought that college degrees are either important or very important. That's astounding. Pew just came out with findings that a supermajority of people across political parties, across ethnic groups, across racial groups, believe that higher education is heading in the wrong direction. So higher education is losing the population, but it insists on biting the hand that feeds it. And that's really a problem. And Trump is offering them an off-ramp, which is just stop being so crazy leftist. You don't have to be conservative. You don't have to be MAGA. But how about moving a little bit towards the center, allow diverse viewpoints, et cetera? And I don't know if higher ed is prepared to do that. University of Virginia was, and kudos to them.
Yeah, and they will likely be thriving because of it. I want to ask you about the other side of that situation, because you have a lot of Ivy League schools, but other universities, entrenched liberal institutions like UC Berkeley, UCLA, that I think are still going to be resistant to this, even if it hurts their federal funding, even if it hurts their enrollment, even if it hurts their stature. Are you concerned that there are institutions like that that are just going to dig in?
Well, it's not so much a concern, it's a reality. I think they will. And the universities in California, the public universities, are in a really tough spot, because Gavin Newsom has said that if anybody takes a deal with Trump, public university, we're cutting you off at the state level. So they've been put in a really impossible position. But put California aside, these other universities, and I include Cornell in them, I include other Ivy League schools, other so-called top-tier schools, they really need to reconsider whether the model they have is sustainable, whether a model where the universities not only do not reflect society, but are hostile to society, yet rely on society in the form of the federal government to fund them. Is that really a sustainable model? And I don't think it's sustainable. And I hope more of these schools would be reasonable. Trump came out with this compact for higher education But he's open to negotiate on it. But I think it's 7 out of the 9 schools he offered it to, including MIT and Brown and a few others, have already rejected it. They said, we're not even going to talk about it. You're impinging upon our independence. Well, I say, as somebody who's in academia, who's at an Ivy League school, I say, where has your independence gotten you? It's gotten you into a really bad place where you have an unsustainable model, where you have purged conservatives from the faculty. You haven't hired conservatives in 20 years, and this is not sustainable. You just can't keep going this way, but they don't seem to see it that way.
You're working on something else. We only got about a minute left. I want to ask about this combating anti-Zionism, which is, I think, a code word a lot of times for anti-Semitism. Tell us why you took this on and what it will likely result in.
Yeah, well, I mean, it wasn't something started by me, but it's something that I certainly support, which is to identify the anti-Zionist elements who are trying to create Zionist-free zones on campuses. We saw that in UCLA. They actually set up checkpoints. And that's part of Trump's push for diversity of ideologies. You cannot have Zionist-free campuses. That's not permitted. And so I think that's an important initiative that has been started.
Yeah. Professor William Jacobson, we love having you on. Thank you so much for being here,
Great.
sir.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely. All right, everybody, coming up after the break, we've got a few more topics we want to hit before we head out for the night, so stick around. We'll be right back.
Hey folks, as an investigative journalist, I've spent my career digging into the facts, cutting through noise, asking hard questions, and getting to the truth. And when it comes to who I recommend to my audience, I hold everyone to the same standard. That's why I want to tell you I've done the homework, and AMAC, the Association of Mature American Citizens, is the real deal. AMAC is a conservative alternative to AARP. They're focused on faith, family, and freedom, and they offer real benefits to their members, myself included, including discounts on travel insurance, in prescriptions, so much more, exclusive resources, and their excellent AMAC magazine. And right now, when you sign up for a 5-year membership, you'll save up to 33%. That's just over $1 a month, a smart investment to stay informed, get real value, and support a cause that matters. Visit amac.us/justnews today. I've done the vetting. Now you can take the next step.